There's no way Michael Jackson should have, or whoever Jackson, should have $1,000,000 billion and then there's people starving. There's no way. There's no way that these people should own planes and their people don't have houses, apartments.
Hey you guys, it's Sage Mystic, your favorite astrologer, and I'm back again with another video. And today we're doing a birth chart, and it is an honor to be doing this chart. Okay, so I'm doing Tupac's chart, you guys. And anybody who knows me knows that I am a Tupac fanatic, so it was an honor for me to do this. And this is also a very interesting chart, so let's get into it. So we see here that the sun is in Gemini, and we see it's very developed, okay? We also see that his moon sign is kind of a little developed, but not very much. It's in Aries, so he's really learning how to speak up for himself and stand up for himself, especially his emotions, okay? I also see that he has a stellium, I believe, in Gemini, and there was another one, but I also want to point out his North Node and his Chiron. As we know, that's very important, looking into that. So let's get into his North Node. Okay, so it's very important to note that his North Node is in Aquarius, and this is very fitting for Tupac. I actually was not surprised, because Aquarius is a humanitarian. Aquarius is the rebellion, okay? And we all know he made the song Rebel of the Underground, so we know he was very, very outspoken about his rebellious nature, okay? So he was born with an important spiritual mission. If your North Node is in Aquarius, the zodiac sign is all about shaking up the status quo and bringing the power back to the people. Hello, which means you're destined to change the world for the better. In your past lives, you spent a lot of time working on loving yourself. So that definitely was very big for me. It stood out because we know that Tupac was a revolutionary. So let's get into... So I felt that this was very important, actually, his Chiron in Aries, okay? Because this is the warrior alchemist. And that was definitely something that Tupac was very well known for, alchemizing self-destructive energy. He was the one who definitely was trying to turn that whatever anger or injustice he's seen and tried to turn them into something for the better, okay? So he's definitely trying to alchemize that and shift that energy, okay? Balancing restriction and rebellion. Uncovering our true identities. Healing the divine masculine. Wow. Taking an active role in healing. And we know he was very active and very outspoken about how he embraced and showed that he wasn't afraid to shake things up. Also with that North Node in Aquarius and this Chiron in Aries, he was not shy of trying to shake things up and being outspoken and very bold with that Aries energy. Okay, so we also see here, diving deeper into his chart, that his chart was in a seesaw shape. And when you go to look it up and you find out what a seesaw shape is, it tells that this person has very different conflicting views. They may become sometimes contradictory because they can shift from one extreme to the next. And we know that he was very well known for being able to switch things up very quickly. We already know he was a Gemini, so that's definitely someone who's dual in nature, and they can go from one extreme to the next. But he did have a lot of Gemini in his chart, and he also has the seesaw shape, which tells us that he can go from one extreme to the next. This is also the person that wrote Keep Your Head Up and Hit 'Em Up, so we know that he can shift very quickly, okay? So we see the air element is dominant among the inner planets, okay? So he definitely had a lot of air energy and a lot of mutable energy, okay? So that means he's someone who is very flexible. He was someone who could change his opinion, and the sun Gemini is home to a large portion of the inner planets. So he was definitely had a lot of big Gemini energy. Now, this is also a very important part of his chart that I wanted to point out, was that he has a yod, and it is his ascendant, his Chiron, and his North Node. Now, this is very important because we know the Chiron in the North Node is very important because that is the soul wound in Aries, and it is his North Node in Aquarius, which he feels is like his soul purpose in life and what he's learning in this life, and it is in the yod shape. So let's look into what the yod means. Okay, so we see here that the yod is in a natal chart. It's thought that those who have the yod in their natal chart have a powerful mystical force working in their lives, and this force compels them to fulfill a particular but unknown purpose. There's a sense of urgency. They can become neurotic and totally directed toward that goal. So he was very fixated. That's what that yod means. He was very fixated on that. And as we look in his yod, we see that it is in Chiron, in Aries, and his North Node in Aquarius. So those were very predominated parts of his chart where he felt he was very fixated on that goal of learning that mission of his soul wound being in Aries, which is the alchemist, as we've seen, and transmuting that energy into good energy and having that, feeling that purpose fulfilled. And also his North Node in Aquarius, which was that humanitarian and the revolutionary. And we know from his Panther past that he was raised to be fixated on being a revolutionary, like his North Node in Aquarius, and he was fixated and raised to be a fighter, like his Chiron in Aries, who doesn't back down and doesn't take no shit, okay? So we know that this is something he was definitely raised in and raised to be, and he definitely showed that influence in his music for many years to come. So I feel like this is very important to know these things about somebody's birth chart, because we know now from seeing all of this why he may have had this influence, why he felt these ways with these things in his chart, and how this affected his life and made him who he was. And I think that's very important when we're looking into astrology and birth charts.